shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man. I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you need to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, man. I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon.
Okay, man. I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty half my age at the crib. I'm trying to get to her. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? That's all right. Don't even worry about it.
All right. Tell you what. I'm gonna get you one drink. You look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink because I really did. Yeah.
Hey man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Or no. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
Lighten it up.
Oh, yeah. Just 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Crab. Crab. Get crafty. Go crab. Get crafty. Go crab. Go crab. Ah, y'all thought I could rap, didn't you? Hi. Bar Talk with Jay. Welcome again. And the only thing I can tell you, I got in the building? Crab Matic. What's up, Smooth Jay? How you doing tonight, man?
Man, my day was good, but crap, man. Before I start on me, I gotta go back to you, man.
What's up, man?
1 year anniversary, man, and you showed out like you always do.
Hey, man, it was a wonderful time, you know. Man, it's hard to believe it's been a year already.
Man, you know something I would like to say? It's hard to believe, but again, with all we've been doing, I can only say I'm very blessed to be able to say I went a whole year.
Yes.
But the true blessing is you, man. I mean,
Exactly,
I would have
man.
never thought you would have been down that path with me
Okay.
the way you had.
Right.
You know, and again, you got to go down that path to realize.
Yes.
You know, you will hope, but how many times you've been disappointed? I realize, you know something, if you keep your mindset there, you won't accept what's coming forward.
Right.
And when you came forward, my mindset was on all these other things, and you opened my word up to something totally different and better.
I appreciate that, Jay. I'm not sure if I should get credit for all that, but
I mean,
you know.
credit comes from opening my mind to a different state.
Okay.
You know, and that's what you've done. So I know you wonder where it comes from.
That's beautiful.
You have opened things up to me.
Yeah.
And you've been very open and caring. Just like I opened up to you.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
it's been a give, take, but it's been an understanding.
Yeah.
And man, all I can say is I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which one of these phones is, I know ain't nobody calling us.
Somebody calling us.
See,
we
I'm about to change that number.
Tell them we'll call them back in a little while, in a couple hours.
Way out of here. Hey, time out.
Right.
So back to you, Crab. How are you doing?
Man, I'm fabulous. You know, I'm always lovely. You know,
Like that?
yeah, man. You know, that's my life philosophy. Just be lovely. I'm good. You know, I'm good always, no matter whatever's going on. I'm good. I'm not affected by circumstances and things and you know, people's thoughts and expectations. I'm always gonna be good. You know.
That's why I'm right there.
Yeah.
You are the good guy you are.
Yeah, appreciate
But
that, man.
let's go to Barbara. We got Barbara in the building as well. You know,
Hey, Miss
she's
Barbara.
playing quiet.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing just wonderful on Bar Talk with Jay. And how are you doing today, Crab?
I'm doing lovely, man.
And how about you, Jeremiah?
Well, what happened to Jay? What happened to Jay?
Yeah.
Jeremiah. Every time I hear Jeremiah, I'm in trouble. You know, when you be getting in trouble, you get that whole name. All I can tell you is yes. I'm doing excellent. And Barbara, we are so glad that you was able to attend. Like I said about craft, now it's turn to you. Barbara, I do appreciate you coming all the way from Macon, Georgia. And I got Macon in the house listening to me as well. All I can say is thank you because, again, you bring a bundle of joy by coming up and being a part of the show.
Right.
And again, for everybody that didn't hear her voice before, she was always behind the scene, and I was happy that she's willing to get on the scenes to hear a voice of a person that helped behind the scenes so much that I have to say gratitude. So on air to
Thank you,
you,
Barbara. Thank you so much.
and Macon for listening.
Absolutely.
That she helped bring her mom, family, and all. So
Absolutely.
all these things, and with the 1 year anniversary, the one thing I really got to say is also thank everyone that listens. I have a lot of faithful listeners, and I want to make sure all of them understand. I appreciate them as well.
Yes, we absolutely do. We absolutely do. I mean, what more can be said about that?
Woo!
We're only here because of our audience, you know.
That's so true.
And I think this program tonight is designed for people. You know, it doesn't matter your race, creed, or background. We think that this show is designed for the hearts of the people. And of course, tonight we are talking about forgiveness.
Woohoo! Oh, you talking about the spiritualness now? I mean, what kind of forgiveness you talking about, Grandpa? Somebody took $1 out of my wallet. What's in your wallet? I'm just saying. Do you really forgive a person who took from you, man?
Well,
I work hard for my money.
Let's frame the subject, and then we're gonna cover it thoroughly, because I got a lot to say on this subject. The way we described our subject tonight is to give or not to forgive. That is the question. When is it time to stop forgiving? Right? Jay and Craftmatic have some insight on this subject, and boy, I'm ready to bring the fire tonight.
Okay, well, we gotta hold you off, man.
Yeah.
Because last time I had to drop the mic when you go off. I be held on, man.
Yeah, I listened to that show.
It was
three
still
times.
smoking, bro.
3 times I listened to that show, man.
For all
That was
y'all
a
that didn't
powerful
listen,
show.
please go back and listen to last week's show.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna give some highlights, but like the man just stole the show. I mean, the man showing you how he's mentally thinking and how he can change your life. And I would really like for you guys to really get in his head, because see, he's quiet. He ain't gonna tell you.
Right.
You gotta listen. And
Right.
then he will open up. That's why I call him smooth craft man. Because when you don't understand that smoothness, you gotta let him get it up in your mouth.
Right.
Marinate in your brain.
Right.
And he'll change your way of thinking. That's my man, smooth craft man.
Yeah, let's do a real quick recap on last week. And I know we're on a little bit of a time schedule, time change, because we started
That's
a few
alright, I'm
minutes late
CEO.
tonight.
That's alright. Forget about the craft. We got
Let's
it.
just make sure we keep our 20-minute segments on point. But last week we talked about weather in the storm. Can you stand the rain? I think we even played New Edition.
Man.
Can you stand the rain for the first song last week?
That's the second part of craft man. DJ craft man.
Right. I like the fact that in that song they say the storms will come. This we know for sure. But can you stand the rain? And the rain, we talked a little bit about the hurricanes and all the bad weather, and how to manage yourself accordingly, and be available to get new information on what's happening with the weather and the storm, and then you can make effective decisions. If you got small children or elderly folk who you need to get out, you need to get out early. And if you decide you're gonna hunker down, you need to make sure that you board up the windows. You make sure you get plenty of food, plenty of water, and settle in and don't come out until it's all over with. The other storm that we talked about are the storms of life. Right? There's always seems to be some troubles on the front door, right? And what do we do when we get troubles from the front door?
I don't answer.
Hey, listen, that ain't gonna make the bill collector go away.
It don't make them either. They still be knocking, but I let on me.
Yeah, it does. So when the storms arrive, we have to do something. And one of the few things that we talked about last week is stepping back. Oftentimes we're so close to the situation that we get into panic modes and stress, worries and fears and doubts. When what we can do if we take a step back and just say, hey, I'm bigger than the problem. I'm going to accomplish this. We're going to overcome it. Create a plan is the best way to deal with storms or sudden changes in your life. Ultimately, it's about responding, not reacting.
There you go.
Right?
Back to the green zone.
Back to the green zone. Doing things proactive and intentional. Do things with real intention, and don't just do things off the top of your head. If you're trying to weather a storm and you just do things off the top of your head, you're probably going to make more mistakes. And the storm's going to last a little longer, and it's probably going to be a little bigger storm. It's important
that we live this life intelligently. I was sharing with a young man a couple of weeks ago about the car business, and he's a newbie coming into the car business, and the words I always use is, this is a thinking man's business. This isn't just laissez-faire. You don't just come in here and things just happen. You make things happen, but you make things happen with real intentionality, and that's the same way life works. Intentionality sets the mark for overcoming storms and hurdles and problems in your life. You get laser focused on something, you'll resolve it just like that. Everybody has a situation where they procrastinated on something. It gets down to the last minute. You've been procrastinating for weeks, months, perhaps years. Takes you about an hour to finish. Right? When you set your intention, all of a sudden you can overcome those hurdles. And so it was a great show. I'm encouraging everybody to go back, listen to it a couple, 3 times, recommend it to your friends and family. It's just spirit nurturing information, and that's what we're trying to bring to you. It's something that's going to heal your heart, heal your mind, and get you through everyday life.
You bring it. You bring it. You might as well go right on to the hot topic, baby. You bring it joy.
Well, hey, listen, right? That's my goal. That's my goal.
I just heard it.
Is to bring joy. So what is the hot topic for tonight? Jay and I had a quick conversation before the show, and we want to bring you today's events. We want to bring you what's happening in the news and the media and in the world. But when we bring those things, it kind of makes our show dated. So if you're listening to this show 2 years or 10 years down the road, you don't really want to hear about Trump no more. Right?
You don't want to hear about him now.
You don't really want to hear about the hurricane that everybody done got healed up from. So we're going to talk a little bit of inspiration tonight just for the hot topic. I want to talk about joy.
Give it to him, baby.
Joy.
And pain?
Yeah, joy and pain. That's the dichotomy of life, right?
Sunshine.
What?
Sunshine and rain.
Barbara over there singing. Hold on.
Right?
Yeah, hold on now. You
I
ain't
see
saying nothing all of a
I
sudden.
see it going in. I see it going in. It's just an opportunity for us to open your hearts and open your minds to joy. Now, how does joy come into our lives? It really piggybacks on the discussion we were just having. I think joy comes through intention. That when you decide that you're going to go have a good time, you go have a good time. What if the last couple of weeks, couple of months, you really haven't been doing anything with your life? You've just been going to work, going home, taking care of the family, taking care of the bills. You really haven't done much. And so you say to yourself, on this Saturday, I'm going bowling. Right? If you have that level of intention, that your whole sense of energy and excitement begins to blossom, because now you got something to look forward to. It's something that you like. You know that on that day you've earmarked it for fun and for a good time, and when you get done with it, it's going to be an accomplishment. You say, hey, I decided I was going to do that. I decided I was going to bring joy into my life, and then you brought joy into your life. That is what I want to inspire you to do today, is to create joy. Now, one of the things most recently, and we're going to spend some time with it tonight, that's bringing me joy, is this new album by Music Soul Child.
Oh,
it's just moving my heart. You know, I never heard such soulful, inspirational music in my life, and I'm playing it over and over and over and over. And music has always been one of those things that brings me joy. So I spend a lot of time in the music world. New music, old music, I'm just a music fan. But I have the intention that anytime anything is bothering me or gets me down for the day or troubles me, in the evening I go to my music. I know where I'm going to get my joy. I'm not going to rest in those doubts and those worries and those fears all night long. I'm going to set those aside so I can experience some joy. And it just happens to be music for me. Sometimes it's movies for people. Sometimes it's just enjoying the significant other. Sometimes it's calling a friend. Sometimes it's reading a book. There's all different kinds of ways to experience joy. I'm simply just wanting to inspire you to reach for your joy. It is available. Joy is, right? Joy is, but are you going to align with joy so you can experience more of it in your life? What you think, Jay?
Well, I'm going to tell you all day long, man. Yes, I believe music. I like when you gave them my idea of bowling. You know, out the box thinking, because again, until you get away from your norm, you're not going to experience that true level of joy. So the one thing I can tell you, Kraft, is you bring some ideas to the table, and I appreciate it. But I really want to make sure everybody out there is listening, and making sure they are willing to accept the fact that you gotta get off the couch and quit thinking everything that's normally happen is just the norm and that's just all it's going to be.
Right.
You gotta to open up and experience some things where you can change some things. And I really feel like what you just gave is something that's a changer.
Yeah.
If you're willing to listen. Now a lot of times they hear it, they don't want to do it, but it will actually inspire you to do more. And I really feel like we're here for a purpose, and we won't get to that purpose if we keep staying stagnant.
Absolutely. And listen, our purpose is ultimately to help bring joy into your home, into your family, into your relationships. If you listen to this show, you will find some good fruit in order to consume, for your family, for your health, for your life. And so, we're living our passion and our purpose doing this show. The show brings us joy. Sometimes you have talents and gifts that bring you joy.
Yeah.
Helping other people brings you joy. And there's so many things. But if you don't get intentional about at least thinking about it, it probably is going to be impossible to bring it into your behavior and into your experience, because thought comes before reality. Mm-hmm. So make sure, folks, that you're planning some joyful times. All right.
What song you got for us? We gotta go ahead and go to break.
Yeah, we going to break right now, and what I'm telling you, I'm just all over Music Soul Child. You got to have it this week.
Go ahead and give it to him.
This is his new album, and it's called Feel the Reels. 24 cuts of the livest tracks I ever heard in my life. This is an inspiration for me because this is his best work, and it is inspiring me now to reach for my best work.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So let's get on it. We got Benefits right here as the first track. I hope you folks enjoy it. We'll be right back with more Bar Talk with Jay after this song.
Crabmatic DJ. Now, back with Bar Talk with Jay, and yes, we got smooth DJ Craftmatic on the music today.
Right.
Trying to find y'all way to joy. That's right, that's a path.
That's
a
it,
path
man.
of choice.
That's it. It's a choice.
And one thing about us, we want to make sure joy enters your life in making sure that we got TK on the phone. That's right, joy. And
Yes.
Craft is looking for some pain. Anyway, TK.
What is going on?
Oh, drop. What is going on? You going on? I mean, coming in all dry. You better hype it up. Come on, girl.
I have never done. Winter time is supposed to be a hibernation weather.
It ain't hibernation yet, so wake up.
Yeah, we moving into that era now.
Yeah, my
Fall
crap.
is a coming.
No, it's hibernation weather.
Nah.
You don't have to relax and chill when it's
Craft said you ain't made it on set yet. You don't know nothing about no hibernation.
How you doing, Miss TK? How you doing, hon?
I'm good, honey. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. I know you. I know you got something out of the box for us tonight. What you talking about this evening?
Okay, this is my thing. And the setup is you're in a relationship. We paid all the bills. However, I have $200 in my bank account, and you only have 50 in yours. And we decide to go out to dinner, and the dinner tab is $47.58. Who's expected to pay for that tab? Am I to pay for it because I have more money? Because you got $50, you can cover it. Or do you pay for it because you're the man?
Because you the man. Now I hear some expectations.
I'm just saying, technically, the man usually covers those expenses.
Oh, my
but
goodness.
generally, the man covers those expenses.
Oh, that sounds so much like the 70s and 80s. Oh my God.
Are you working together or you just working? I'm just saying.
That's a good question, Jay.
I mean, 'cause I like the question, I really do. Because I like to say a lot of times with me, if I'm taking you out, I'm going to go ahead and cover it, knowing I ain't going to have nothing left.
Right.
But the question is going to be, since you know that we're open and you know that that's my last, are you willing to back me?
That's a good, yes.
Now see,
Yes.
me, I'm willing to go ahead and say, I pay for it, alright? Now you already know that's going to take pretty much all of what I have, and I'm going to be left with a very little. My question is going to be, is I'm not going to come to you to give me anything.
Right.
I want to see if you got my back. I want to see if you remember that that's my last. And I want to see if you're going to come up to the table and say, well, I can do this for you. And at that point, I know we're a team.
Okay.
Because see, what I've been noticing, it ain't no team in a lot of relationships.
Right.
It's my money, and it's called selfish. Well, see, that right there is going to cause you to be by self.
Right.
That's not wise. I would always say, you can let a man be a man, but you also supposed to compliment your man. So that means have his back at a time when you know he don't have anything. You don't never make him feel like, I did this for you, and then I ain't gonna do nothing for you.
See, and Jay, I think you nailed that, because that's exactly how I feel. I would probably take care of the meal, and I would leave with my little $3, in my pocket. I probably gonna need you to help with the tip if I ain't got but $3.
Ain't much of a tip right there.
Yeah, that ain't gonna be no tip. We gotta sneak out the door.
Personally, being that we're in a relationship, we figured out our bills and everything that the house is taken care of. If I got an extra $200, that means you already taken on the load of the bills anyway.
Okay.
That's how I'm going to say it. So for me, I'm going to be willing to more pay for dinner and then make sure you got gas in your car for next week so you can get to work. Because I need you to be able to take that both of the bills again next month. So I'm going to
Selfish. Selfish.
I'm just saying.
That means she said enough with
You
gas.
need to make sure you're good.
She don't even care if you eat.
This
to work.
It's a lopsided conversation. That's what it is.
I'm just saying, you need to make sure you're good.
Okay,
You might need to buy lunch at work for that $50, but if you got gas and you eat tonight, I'm still 100 to the good, baby.
Listen, why can't it be share and share alike? Now see, now I'm not in I'm not in a relationship or a marriage, engaged in that stuff, but when I'm even dating, that I think it should be flip flop. I bought dinner yesterday, you buy dinner today, and we just keep flipping and flopping,
You're doing
right?
too much. That ain't how it works.
No, that's see, listen, it really doesn't have to work that way. But the man is looking for how committed the woman would be to him. Right?
I just said I was going to put gas in your car and pay for dinner.
No, I don't need gas in my car. I need you to show equal commitment. Right? That's all I need. And listen, once you show equal commitment, watch this. Once you show equal commitment, that you're as invested in our dating or our having a good time as I am, then that's when you get the castle. That's when you get the whole pie. That's when you can take all of your money and drop it into your little bank account and you can do all your stuff. But if you're not if you're not showing me that you are interested in being an equal partner and helping with the burden of our relationship, or not burden of the relationship, but the things that we need to get done, if you don't want to participate like I participate, that's showing me you already one-sided. You might be looking for I ain't gonna call you no gold digger.
Sound like it.
No, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. But there are a lot of women who are looking for a little bit of a ride, and men don't like that. Millennium men don't like that. Y'all done brought us up in an era where you got independent women. Hey, make your paper, and then be willing to contribute it to me making my paper. And if you're not gonna be equal today, you're probably not gonna be equal tomorrow. And so I'm just of the notion that you should always give equally. That's how it works. Now, if you date me, I'm going to always pay. I'm not going to ever ask for anything. I'm going to always put my foot forward. I'm going to pay the tab. I'm always going to tip my server very well. And I'm not going to ask you for anything. But the next 2 or 3 times we go out, I'm thinking about how you handle the situation. Right? Like, okay, hey, maybe she broke, you know what I'm saying? Maybe she got some hard times going on. I can understand those things. But if you ask me out and then I got to pay for everything, that don't work.
But if I ask you out, the expectation, I'm going to cover the tab anyway.
Well, that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah,
but it don't work that way. And Jay and I know reality. What? It don't work that way.
Reality, because she was hungry.
If I want to go see Kid this weekend, let's go out and see Kid this weekend. We're going to go out to dinner. Then that's a clear indication that I want to go see this movie. You may not even be interested. You're just going because I invited you. That means I'm going to cover the tab for dinner and the movie, whatever we're doing that night, because this is something I wanted to do.
Yeah. And listen, men know, men who are men know the role that we play in when it comes to spending money on women. We just don't like to be feeling like we're taken advantage of and we're used and utilized. That stuff really rubs us the wrong way. You out to get something. You're not out to be a partner in a relationship with me. And I think that's kind of the bottom line, if you ask me. If you show me that you're being selfish or you're one-sided, if I don't believe there's some rationale behind it, then I'm gonna think you're just a taker. And I don't really want to take her into my life, no matter how fine you are. I might take a little bit myself, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, you got me on that one, Crab. That was smooth.
Well, I mean,
Crab on that smoothness. But
I'm gonna meet you where you are.
But one of the things I gotta admit is dating. Like again, being a divorced single brother myself, I like to say in a dating world, you get more of that. They want to go out,
right?
But they really just want you to take them out. But they will bring it up,
right?
But they're expecting you to pay because they feel like you got it. Okay,
right?
And they're right.
They're right.
Okay,
you got it. Yeah,
but my whole thing is even me having it. I want to see what kind of long-term commitment I can have, even as a dating partner.
Right.
Because see, as we date, I'm trying to learn.
Right.
So if I got a person that's always going out with me and they're always making me spend my money, okay, you can save yours. That's all good.
Right.
But that's not showing me what it will be in a relationship with you.
Right.
So if I'm just going to keep taking you out because you look good, and I don't have a problem going out because you look good, I like you, you got the package.
Yeah.
But I keep paying, and you're not contributing, and you're not buying into my thoughts,
right,
my dreams. It's not going to be long before I'm not dating no longer.
Absolutely.
Why would I continue down a path that I don't care? I'm not going to tell it.
Are you cracking up or calling
I'm
me
just being real.
I'm laughing with you, TK, baby. I'm laughing with you.
I think Barbara.
I'm laughing with you,
Hey,
baby.
listen,
like anything else.
Here's the other side of the equation. I have dated, a few ladies who gets it, and the way I know that they get it is because they're commenting that, hey, you know, I want to go out, but you know, I can't afford no $100 meal. I'm like, don't even worry about that, baby. I got you. But I'm getting loved on. You know what I'm saying? I might get leftovers from last night's dinner. You know, I might get some kind words and some thoughts, and you know, we have some. You know, if we vibing, man, you know, we can all feel when it's good, when it's good and it's equal and it's true. We just don't want to be taken advantage of. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I have become aware of many women who seem to be caking up these men. I'm like, what's going on with that?
And
Women who got good jobs, making dough, making things happen, taking dudes out, buying them dinner, buying them tennis shoes, and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, where did that come from? Bro, I don't know. Where oh, it happens a lot. And maybe it comes out of a sense of, you know, a more mature woman or grown woman not wanting to be alone. You know, sometimes it's worth $100 just to have somebody have dinner with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real, you know.
No, you better learn how to love yourself. Are you crazy?
If you live in the world that we live in sometimes good companionship.
At $100, oh, listen, I'm available.
We can always put the check. Now, for me, if I feel like I'm never going to be in a position where I feel like, well, I can go ahead and spend the $100 on him, but I just don't want to eat by myself. I eat well by myself. My food bag is just the same.
That's because you trying to keep your $100.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. I ain't talking about running from loneliness. I'm just talking about wanting companionship. You know what I mean? And men are very familiar.
You shouldn't have to pay for companionship. If a person is interested in you, if I want to go out and just have companionship, I say, well, let's go out, and I'm gonna make it very clear. We can go. I just don't want to eat on myself. You pay for your food, and I pay for mine. If you want to go out and just have somebody have dinner with, because that way I'm not taking anything from you.
I know. But
we're just enjoying each other's company.
If you live in a man's world, and they all know exactly what I'm talking about right now. Sometimes you just, you know, you're just interested in companionship and company, and you know, it's not about what she can offer you or you trying to get some. It's just that, hey, you know, I just really wanted a special friend for dinner, you know, and company. So and spending a little money like that is really nothing in a man's world. It's not easy to understand, but it's just the way it works. You know, it's just the way it is.
I guess I wouldn't understand. I'm not a man, probably, but I have male friends that I have no romantic intentions with them, and we go out there and they cover dinner. But I've also said, you know, look, we covered last time. Let's go and have a drink. So, you know, so I don't do for it, and I'll cover lunch or whatever simply because that's my friend and that's what we do. And somebody who I feel like I'm romantically involved in, that's kind of a different situation because I expect certain behavior.
Yeah, and listen, you just kind of pushed back on the idea that I said, hey, you know, sometimes we spend money just to have companionship. Don't think that man's buying you dinner and drinks just because he, you know, you like one of the boys. He looked good with you sitting beside him. He getting some thrill out of it, whether you believe it or not. I can't let my mamas and sisters and aunties and cousins be fooled by the truth. The truth is, yeah, y'all might call each other friends, but he checking you. He digging for you. He like being with you. It's still companionship, whether it's romantic or sexual or
whatever.
But
you don't think it can be platonic? You don't think that a guy...
No.
But I don't feel that way. We gotta hang out and whatever, and it's nothing for me.
I know, but it's something for him, though. You just can't see what
that's ridiculous.
You can't experience what that is. You know what I'm saying? Like when a man and a woman come together, there's a lot of magic going on there that you just can't put words on. And like
two men, Jerry can go out to dinner and
hold on, back
way to the left.
Yeah, hold on. You in hell now? Hell to the
no, we don't do that, bro.
No. We are straight friends.
Without it being romantic.
I mean, with me and you.
He said it wasn't possible. You said it wasn't possible.
I'm saying how we keep it possible.
We don't. Yeah, it's not possible.
I said, no, how you keep it possible is this how we keep it.
Right.
How we keep it is how you keep it.
That's good.
We don't do all that. We'll talk on the phone, we'll joke, we'll have fun, you'll come out to an event.
So if I say, Jerry, you know what, listen, how about this? this movie just came, and I like cars. Car shows coming. I got some tickets too. I ain't got nobody else in the car here to see if you can go to the car show with me.
No, see, that's
You
different.
wouldn't go to the car show
That's
with me?
different. I'll say yes. Because see, I already know what's up. So when we go to the car show and you see me hollering at somebody else, I already know you already know.
I'm gonna get her number for you.
There you go. See what I'm talking about? She know how to add
Now,
to
see,
the base.
you just added a new dimension to companionship.
That's what I'm telling you. Joy in pain.
You said it was not possible, so I'm just putting it out there.
I'm showing you how to
No, see, TK, during the whole conversation, you just can't see that man's perspective. It's clear that it's not attainable for you to see that. But we get things out of just being with you. That's important. You know what I'm saying?
I say that because I feel like I'm an attractive person, but I'm not attracted to everybody. For people who they don't generally, they may not see me that way. I may be a cool person, I have a cool personality, and I can be sometimes friends with the opposite sex without it being sexual. So if I call friends and I want to go out, we have a good time, we laugh, we joke, and we have a genuine good time, I'm not definitely, damn. He not looking at me like that, my whole person. I don't think he's looking at me like that.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
he watching your curves. He looking into your eyes. He checking out your makeup. He checking out your outfit. He getting pubbed because he's seen out with you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Because Kraft been still trying to see you and get with. Hold on, we gotta go
take
to break,
break,
man.
yes.
Y'all just doing too much.
Boy, that's some good stuff.
Only
Right
thing I
there,
can tell
TK.
y'all is stay tuned, man. Bar Talk with Jay. We on one tonight.
We on one tonight,
TK in her crazy ways. Always gotta add another dimension. Craftmatic, go ahead, DJ Master Ice. Do us.
We'll be right back. More Bar Talk with Jay after this. That's that serendipity, boy.
Man. Back with BarTalkWithJay, and again, we got the sounds of smooth DJ. Craftmatic in the building. Appreciate you, baby. When I tell you my man is giving y'all something different, this is music that you normally just don't hear on a radio station.
Right.
We trying to bring you something different. And again, to uplift you back to that joy that we trying to bring everybody. But we got who on the phone? Jeffrey! Jeffrey, how you doing, baby?
Brother Jay, what's going on with it?
Man, we trying to make it, man. I can tell you I'm very blessed. Happy to be here.
Yes.
And my man Kraft, how you feel today? Tell
Brother
Jeffrey.
Kraft, what's going on with it?
Oh man, everything is beautiful, bruh. Everything is beautiful. You know, I'm always excited about your segment. So, how you doing, man?
Man, I tell you what, it was a long day. I held everything together with duct tape and stick, but we made it work, and still know what time it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is time for you to close your mouth and listen. You ask me some questions, I give you some answers from a man's point of view. So I got one reason for the habitually single female, and one reason for the habitually single male. That's the reason why they might be single, but here's the disclaimer. Now, what I'm going to talk about might not apply to you, and if it doesn't apply to you, I don't want you to put your foot up in this shoe.
Okay.
But if it does apply to you, I want you to put both feet in both stilettos and both feet up in the Timberlands and walk around in them, because you're going to learn something tonight.
Yes.
Ladies, you are first. Ladies, you might be single because you don't know how to think outside the box. Now listen to me, ladies. See, you have a list of requirements, and you keep manifesting that list. I mean, you keep getting everything you're asking for on that list, but what you fail to realize is that your list ain't good for you. In fact, your list is probably why you stay. But I need you to understand, ladies, sometimes you got to throw away that damn list.
Right.
What you have to do is throw some caution to the wind. What you have to do is put yourself in the position for Boaz to see you. What you have to do is put yourself in the position to be in the right place at the right time for the right man for you, not adhering to every single letter of your list.
Right.
You've gotten your list already, ladies. You've gotten the tall, dark, and handsome brother more than once. You've gotten the brother that had a lot of money more than once. You've gotten the brother that, had the six-pack more than once. Don't you see that list is why you're single? I want you to, as a matter of fact, I want you to write that list down. And I want you to burn it. Let that list go. And open your heart to the way that love can move you when you're not trying to define what love looks or feels like.
Right.
You keep on going. You keep on writing that list. You might as well write on that list, I want all these things, and I want to stay single, because that's what's going to happen.
Yes. And for a
very long time. Jeffrey!
Woo, that was right on time.
That's a black guy.
Listen, I think I was, I need to repent off of that one a little bit. Because here's the real truth, man. The real truth is we don't know what's good for us. We do not know what is best for us. And what we think is best for us usually or oftentimes is not good for us. And so we got to get rid of our preconceived notions about what people will look like who will come into our lives, because the man for you probably doesn't look like what you think the man that is for you looks like. Does that make sense? I think that's what Jeffrey just said. And he might not come with a lot of money, but he'll take care of his home and he'll take care of his family. He may not be highly intelligent, but he's the hardest worker you ever met. And so you miss the blessings by looking almost sometimes too far, too high in the sky. The pie ain't in the sky.
Wasn't on that list.
Wasn't on the list. Wasn't on the list. Outstanding, Jeffrey. What you got for us, man? That's powerful.
Oh, man. Now, fellas, you know that I'm not letting you off the hook. Fellas, you are next.
Okay.
Fellas, you might be single because you are scared to make a decision. I mean, you get stuck in a holding pattern trying to think what's going to happen if you do that and what it's going to look like if you do this, and you never, ever execute on anything. I'm gonna give you some real life advice right now, fellas. There might be this young lady that you've been after for a while, and you've already broken the ice, but you've kind of been in the friend zone. Fellas, here's some advice to you right now. Let her know that you want to take her out on a date. This is when you want to take her out on a date, and this is what you want her to wear on that date.
Oh!
Make a decision.
That's pimping.
Or you can put it like this. Hey, on Friday, I'd like to take you out. You get to pick from this restaurant, or this restaurant. You pick.
Right.
You make a decision, and you give that woman options. And what you will tend to find, and you start to see, is that women kind of like being told what to do, as long as they got options.
Right.
You can tell a woman what to do, and you can give her options, and she will go right round in it. Test me out by doing this. If you got a woman right now, try this one night. Tell your woman, hey, at 7 o'clock, I want you to dress this type of way, because I'm taking you out on the town. Watch to ask where we going. Don't you worry about where we going. You just wear a dress of this type. Matter of fact, put 3 dresses on the bed. Say you wear one of these dresses at 7 o'clock. Be ready to go.
Right.
And watch that woman spring into action. Watch her start to call her girlfriends and do a little dance while she gets ready. Then make a damn decision. When you make a decision, what happens? Women will follow you because they understand and they feel like he got it. As long as he got it and he's giving me some options, I'm right there with him. Fellas, as long as you're not making decisions, you are deciding to be single.
That's right. Ain't gonna stay single.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Man.
you hit that one.
Man, you hit that one.
Oh, he hit that one.
I mean, let me tell you what I think the essence of that one was that men just simply need to stand in the leadership role that God meant for them to stand in. They need to be leaders. And, I think what Jeffrey's alluding to is, small in the scheme of life. You got to be decisive. You got to be clear about a direction. And that's what women are very attracted to men who are going somewhere. And so if I tell you, just like he said, if I tell you that, hey, 7 o'clock, we're going to dinner, remember that those 2 dresses that I like of yours? I want you to pick one of those. I want you to be ready tonight. Be ready to go. They love that. How can a woman follow a man's lead if he doesn't come from that direction? It's almost impossible, right?
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's so fire, Jay. That's so fire right there, man.
But he just said now how you just elaborated. The only thing I can tell you is, again, women don't like confusion.
No.
Okay?
No. And they don't like somebody who always like, well, what you want? Well, what you want? Well, I'll pick whatever you want.
And they bring that. A lot of times they bring it.
Right.
But they just want you to make that decision.
Yeah.
So,
women like to know what's in a man's mind. Right? It comforts a woman to know what's on a man's mind. And so when a man put forth what's on his mind, it comforts the woman. She no longer has to guess whether she's in the game, whether she's doing the right thing or not the right thing. It does comfort her. And I think that is a part of what Jeffrey's talking about. So I won't belabor the point, Jeffrey, but man, you ministering tonight, bro. What's number 3 for you?
Jeffrey, you in so much trouble with the men. Oh, you so much. But I like how you did it. You said it's so smooth. But there's a whole lot of brothers out there, really. I was going to do that next week. And Jeffrey done told it. I'm just saying, bro.
It's all right. All right. Keep on moving, man. What you got?
All right, listen to me now. This is something I heard I want to share with everybody. Men and women, we have to stop living our lives small. And what I mean by small is we live our lives so small that we actually need a tombstone when we die. This is something I heard today. It says you need a tombstone because you haven't done anything worth of significance to remind anybody that you were ever here. What you got to do is you have to live your life in such a way. You have to walk in such a pattern. You have to make a decision to have such an impact on people that when you die, you don't need a tombstone.
Right.
When you die, they even got to know where you were buried at. They know that you were here by the legacy that you have left. They know that you were here by the impact you have left on them, the way you made them feel about themselves, and they pass that down to their children, and it keeps your legacy alive.
Yes.
Family on this. Black people, stop playing small. Stop asking people for what's already inside you. Just step into it, make a decision, and live and walk in our own brilliance.
Yes.
We don't have to ask anybody for anything. We already have it. We just have to walk into our brilliance, step into it, and start doing for each other. That's all I got.
Okay, I'm gonna do you like I just did my man Craftmatic last week. Hold on. There you go. Go ahead. Drop the mic. Okay.
We just dropped the
Jeffrey
mic.
got the mic on that one. Oh Lord.
We just dropped the mic.
Man, Jeffrey, you silenced the world.
You killed it. You killed it with that.
That right there will unite us in a way that we will be uniform and brilliant. Real.
And I'm just gonna kind of. I'm just going to touch on it, man. These are things that I think about all the time. I do not want to live a small life. I do not want to live a life that has no meaning. I want my life, at the end of it, when I'm on my last breath, I want people to know that I cared and that I did something that made a difference to those who would come after me. That's what if we could have all people to get to that place where they can think about how am I going to impact the world that's going to come after me. You know, we do this radio show. These words could live on for thousands of years, and they could become a part of part of the fabric for developing a culture of people to be more loving and to be more giving and to focus on their needs and to focus on the good of life. This is our legacy. This is the reason that we would not need a tombstone. And I encourage everyone to find that reason and that passion and that purpose in their lives that would cause them to not need a tombstone. I really, really like that, Jeffrey. That is just absolutely profound. When you think about it, because people are living small lives because I think people live small lives because they don't know the value of their life as it relates to the world. Their lives are every person's life is very meaningful. You're not here to just soak up the sun and use up the water. You're here to bring something in exchange for what you take out of this world. And sometimes that's love, sometimes that's giving time, sometimes that's giving money. But it's got to be bigger than you are in order for it to make a difference in the world. And I can't say anything else about that, Jeffrey. You really, really crushed it, bro.
All right, appreciate you, brothers. Really do.
Yeah, and we appreciate you too, man. We just keep tearing it up around here, man. I get so excited about the ideas that we share. Because they're just inspirational. I'm not hearing them anywhere else. And I proactively go on internet and YouTube and Facebook and any other resource I can find to try to find great inspiration like this. And I'm not finding it, Jay. The only place I find inspiration like what we do is in when I hear sermons.
Okay.
Right? When I hear sermons to my favorite pastors, I get to hear a lot of this inspiration. And I don't have to worry about where the information is coming from. I just worry about how I'm going to apply it to my life. You know what I mean? And so, if Donald Trump started telling you about taking responsibility and accountability, you probably wouldn't want to hear that nonsense. But people like me and you and Jeffrey, who are just real folk trying to do the right thing, we have nothing. We have nothing to gain, for what we do. We just want you to prosper. And so, what Jeffrey does, what we do, is a part of our legacy, man. We gotta have everybody living the legacy dream.
And that's why you formulate a team.
That's why you formulate a team. Absolutely.
Of great people
Yeah.
that enjoy doing what they do. See, you got a lot of people that looks for certain things in life. There's nothing better is when you bring everybody together to bring us together for the right things.
Right.
That it's in your heart.
Right.
But you always ask yourself, how? All you have to do is try.
Absolutely.
And then when you try, another person will run into you. And he'll try. And that's what helped formulate my team.
Yeah, absolutely.
A team of people that's willing to try.
Yeah. Hey, listen, and Jeffrey, we only got like 1 or 2 minutes here before we go to break. But tonight we are talking about forgiveness. Tonight's subject is to forgive or not to forgive. That is the question. What comments would you have on such a topic?
When it comes to forgiveness, there is no choice. Forgiveness is all about letting go of something that's weighing you down. So if there's someone who's wronged you, go ahead and forgive them and move on. Mother Teresa said, the world's going to hate you, love it anyway. So if you got somebody that's done you wrong, guess what? Go ahead and forgive that person who's done you wrong, and then release them from the responsibility of anything that had to do with that pain. And when you release them from it, guess what? You just freed yourself up, because the minute you decide to forgive somebody, you're making space for somebody else to pour love into. Right. But if you don't forgive them, you carry in that space and occupying a part of your heart and denying that to somebody else. No, I ain't got time for that, player. I've forgiven everyone that's done me wrong. I've looked for the lesson that was in that. I've learned from it, and I kept pushing. If they haven't moved beyond that, that's on them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a great introduction to our topic tonight. To forgive or not to forgive, that is the question. And Jeffrey just put like icing on the cake right there.
He put a nail in that coffin.
Yeah. We are going to dig into the subject a little more, because I want to dissect the subject. When it comes to forgiveness, somebody's done wrong, and somebody has to deal with being done wrong, and then somebody has to make a decision on how they're going to handle being done wrong and who done them wrong. And so let's dive into that a little bit tonight. We're going to take this quick break, and we're going to come back and go hard like we always do the second half of the show. I'm featuring Music Soul Child tonight. This is the song called Sooner or Later on his new album, Feel the Real. Enjoy, and we'll be right back with more Bar Talk with Jay.
DJ Craft! Crabs.
What's up, baby? What I'm telling you, that's fire, man. That's fire. You got to have that album, man. That's an album that's just legendary, man. I'm telling you.
Just like how it's just that jazz.
Just the whole front to back, man. Front to back. You sit for 2 straight hours and just listen to nothing but grooves like that, you know? So welcome back to Bar Talk with Jay. And it is time for us to go in kind of on our, I won't call them life issues, but, you know, if you don't forgive somebody, it's an issue you got to hold on to. And,
I
you know,
like to say, Crab, if you really think about it, did you ever hit home with it? Because you got to release it from yourself.
right.
And what a lot of times is, we don't even look at it like that.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
we look at it as they did us wrong.
Right.
Again, and a lot of times, we point the finger.
Mhm.
Okay?
Right.
And I'm not saying they didn't do you wrong, but pointing the finger takes direction off of you.
Right.
And I like to say, people have done us wrong, without a doubt in my mind. And they definitely, we all need to do better.
Okay.
But when you point the finger, you're not looking at the direction when you need to forgive, okay?
Okay.
The direction you're pointing is not the direction you need to be going, because you're giving them the power. Okay?
Absolutely. You're giving
You
them
need
the
to
power.
push against the power and go back to self, because they would have never had that power without you.
Right.
Okay? That's how powerful you are, and you tend to forget because you're giving them a part of you, and you don't need to.
Right.
And that's the power of forgiveness, is understanding you. And it's hard. I promise you it's hard.
It's not easy.
When a person is doing something that you really feel is against you. But I'm telling you, it goes back to you. And that's why I find myself pointing. I have to stop and realize the finger that's pointing is the finger that gave that person that power.
Right.
So while I'm quickly judging them by their action, I also give them power that help cause that pain.
Right.
So when I go for the forgiveness, it's not always just for what all they done. I allow some things to happen
Right.
because I got to heal myself
Absolutely.
in that whole equation that I did not like.
Right.
But once I heal myself by giving that, see, a lot of people feel like you give that and you dummy down.
Right.
I'm never about dummy down. I have to learn a lesson, or I will repeat a lesson.
Right.
And my whole thing is making better decisions. Sometimes people will pull you down a path that you don't need to be going down.
Okay.
And you have to stop going down that path. Because again, that's not the path you really want. It's not easy to do, but you have to do it. So you got to stop pointing. Okay, that person drugged me down there. You also went down there.
Yes.
So at that point, that's why you have to forgive. Because I'm forgiving the fact that I gave you the power to put me this far. I'm not going no further.
Right.
And at this point, I have to make a change in my life. So that's where the forgiveness comes from. So to them, oh, you forgave me for dragging you down here. I had to release me from that foolishness that I got myself into.
Mm-hmm.
Now that right there is something people don't talk about. You know why? It's an embarrassment somewhat. But the problem is, it's not an embarrassment. To me, we all have done foolish things. The best lesson is from a person that made most mistakes.
Right.
When you make a whole lot of mistakes, you tend to get it right. But everybody feel like you can get it on the first try. It's not always that lucky. But I will tell you, a person that made them can tell you a whole lot about them. And will make this world so much better because older people have made mistakes.
Absolutely.
And they're trying to keep you from making similar. Because it ain't going to be the same. Everybody's life is different. Are you willing to listen? And my whole thing is, most of the time, you just didn't understand. But you have to be in that position.
Yeah.
To me, always talk to a person because they might not understand now, they understand later.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be that guiding vessel. Guiding, okay? Not telling, guiding. Because a lot of people need guidance.
Right.
And you shouldn't be waiting on somebody else to guide someone. It should be in you. God is in you.
Absolutely.
God. If you know they're going down the wrong, say something to them. It is your blessing to be here to help guide others as well. And I think that's going to lead you back to your first topic of joy. Because then you're going to really enjoy your life in a way that's ordained for you.
Yeah, you can't experience joy without a forgiving heart. Because joy is, or I say forgiveness is like a pressure release valve. Okay, you know, we all kind of get puffed up by things in life. So, for example, you meet somebody new in your life, and they, you know, they're wonderful people. And here's the human nature, right? The human nature is that I meet somebody, and I get kind of excited about who they are. Right? I start believing in them, and I start to want to support them, and I'm listening to every word that they say, and I'm trusting them, and I'm giving them. Maybe I'm giving them things and stuff, or maybe I'm giving them my time, I'm giving them my energy, I'm certainly giving them my attention. And so we get so puffed up about this person. Okay? And sometimes that's a family member too, right? We get puffed up. We believe in them. You know, they're kind of our little heroes. And then all of a sudden, the person who we're all puffed up about does something wrong to us. They may lie to us, or take something from us, or mislead us, or whatever the case may be. And all of a sudden, we get deflated, right? So we're puffed up about them, and then we get deflated. And of course, when you push the button of forgiveness, that it's not about being puffed up or deflated anymore. You've let the situation go. It's the pressure release valve that I no longer have to be held accountable in any way whatsoever after the fact when I forgive, right? I don't have to tell people about themselves. I don't have to try to teach lessons. I just really let go of the situation. And so almost like I'm not even detached from it anymore. You know, this person hurt me, and when I forgive them, now the thing that they did is no longer hurting me because I forgive. That's the pressure release valve. Right? So, you know, this is a really deep subject, forgiveness, and I think it's a subject that is not talked about enough. I'm not sure that we are teaching our children forgiveness, and I'm not sure that we're expressing forgiveness the way the Lord meant for forgiveness to be expressed. Okay? And the Lord basically says that you should forgive your neighbor, or you should forgive the enemy 77 times 7, right? I mean, and if they keep doing you wrong, you just keep forgiving them, because the forgiveness is not about the person who done you wrong. The forgiveness is about what you do to your own heart and your own mind. It's your pressure release valve. Okay? And so let me take just a little bit of a step back, and then I'm just going to keep going based on my notes here. I believe in my heart that no one really wants to hurt somebody else. I just have a notion that in everybody's heart, if you go to the center of their heart, if you can take off all the layers of pain and pressure and history and been done wrong before and all that, if you could take all those layers of stuff off, you would find that people have pure hearts. And they really kind of want the best for everyone else. And so if I have that notion that people do have pure hearts, then I dissect who they are from what they did. Right? Like, just like a mother whose child maybe takes something from them, the mother will still keep on loving them. The mother might change the rules and the policy in her household, but she still loves that child. She can separate who that person is from what they did. You see where I'm going, Jay?
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Yeah. So this is very, very important stuff, because I think a lot of human potential is lost out of people with stifled emotions. People don't know how to let go of the old stuff. You know, if the mother holds on to the fact that the child took something from her 20 years ago, she's never going to experience joy with that person again. She's always going to have a watchful eye and a doubtful eye, and you have to with people who are sick. You know, people who are on drugs and stole from you, or people who constantly lie to you. You know, if there's a sickness going on, you know, you got to forgive them, but you got to forgive them and still keep dealing with them. And you know, there's a way in which you have to deal with them. But I don't believe that people want to hurt anybody. I think that's the preface of this discussion. So if someone hurts you, they hurt you because of their own little bitty reasons. They couldn't tell you the truth. They wasn't strong enough to tell you the truth. They felt like they had no other thing to do than to take it from you because they saw that you had it and it happened to be accessible. They knew where it was and they took it. And when you look at somebody who took something from you, you got to pay attention to the premier concept that I believe they got a pure heart, but they're sick. He was in a situation, right? I'm trying to create the idea of empathy here, right? Because you can't forgive unless you can empathetically see from their perspective, right? You can use the words "I forgive you," but if you haven't really thought through of, well, you know what, this person did it, I know they didn't mean it, they really don't do things that way. If you don't find some empathy for that person, you can't forgive them. It's impossible to express forgiveness until you exemplify some form of empathy, right? We have, and all of this discussion is really about, no matter what folks do to you, you still got to keep love in your heart. Because if you have anything less than love in your heart for those people, it's only diminishing you. It's not diminishing the person who you're mad at or who did you wrong, right? And so we gotta take this subject of forgiveness very serious, because it again is hindering our own potential, and it has nothing to do with the person who did us wrong. We gotta find a way to separate ourselves from the things that are happening to us, and maybe a way to justify it. And we probably need to cover this a little more, and I don't want to sound like I'm rambling here, Jay, but the greatest forgiveness that can happen in any person's life is the forgiveness of self. And we have to be willing to forgive ourselves. We've all done wrong to other people. We've all taken stuff. We've taken stuff from people, and they didn't know we took it from them, and they didn't even miss it. But we are feeling real bad inside about what we did. We know what we did. We know we cheated and we shouldn't have cheated. We might have got away with it in the worldly place, but in a spiritual place, you can't run from lies. You can't run from non-truths. You got to face them every day. And that's why we have to face our own consciousness, right? We got to face ourselves. When we look in the mirror, we got to look in the mirror and see that we are whole and complete people, and we are living a good life, and we are trustworthy, and we are honest, and we are honorable people. But if you look in the mirror and all you can see is the liar who told a lie yesterday, you got some forgiveness to do. You got work, internal work to be done, and every person is suffering from this idea of a lack of forgiveness of self. Every person is suffering. I even think about my ex-wife, who was one of the most important relationships with me, and all throughout the nonsense, the stuff that was going on through our separation and divorce, and even after the fact, that I'm pointing the finger, just like you were saying, Jay. It was her fault, it was her fault, and it was her fault. And every person I run into, and they say, what happened? And I tell them what happened. They were like, well, did you have anything to do with that? I'm like, why y'all keep wanting to blame me for it? Right?
Did you hear what I just said?
But in the end, and it is the end, I have forgiven myself for the wrongs that I've done, or the potential wrongs that I've done. And when I did that, let me tell you, I have never experienced unconditional love until I forgave myself. And when I forgive myself, now I can love her without attachment to the things that she done. I can love her as my children's mother. I can love her as my ex-wife. I can love her as a friend and family. But that doesn't happen until not only do I forgive her, but I got to forgive myself. Okay? And there's a lot more to be said on the subject. But I won't go in. I don't know anything to add right there, Jay, before I go to my next segment.
Right now, I have an analogy off of what you told me alone. My analogy is, a funny car, and that's a very fast car.
A fast car, okay.
Very, very fast car.
Right.
It has a parachute attached to it.
Right.
Because the brakes will probably burn up before it ever slows down. Mm-hmm. That parachute is forgiveness. Because you're going to go down a path that you normally can't design to stop as fast as you need to. And you need to learn how to let that parachute go.
Yes.
Because that parachute is going to use other things like the wind. That you building up momentum going down is going to use that to help slow you down. Okay? Because you're going to continue going down, but you need to slow it down.
Right.
And that forgiveness allows you to keep going.
Right.
Because if not, you're going to burn up.
Right.
And at that point, you won't be functional.
Yeah. And imagine not forgiving yourself for, being lazy 10 years ago.
Just think about it. You're gonna
Right.
carry baggage and pain. It's just like I told you. Your brakes burn up. You're gonna want to keep going, but you know you can't ever stop.
Yeah.
By releasing the parachute, you're back to running normal. That's what forgiveness gives you. It gives you that ability to continue that people don't recognize. Because again, it's a metaphor. It's a parachute. And you be like, what? It's necessary sometimes
Yeah.
to let it go. Because again, you're holding on to something that's not meant for you.
Right.
You're not learning the lesson. You're carrying a burden. Okay? And how many times have you ran into a person that's been carrying baggage?
All the time.
Hurts, pains, and then you're trying to help them release something that should have been released a long time ago because they don't want to see it the way you're talking because they hurt me. And I don't understand why you would want them to be released from this pain. I want to give them back because they moved on with their life and you're staying stagnant.
And you're staying in, it's almost like you're staying in that moment from 10 years ago.
For no good reason.
Right? You're supposed to be living in the present moment, but you're standing in the gap of the nonsense that happened 10 years ago. And that does nothing but destroy souls. You know, that deflates you. I was just mentioning a moment ago, are we ready for a break?
We are ready for break.
We are?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Oh, now she speaks.
I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm waving and stuff.
I mean, he done broke the boat sign like five. All right, Crab.
I can't see.
Crab, you the DJ, man. Go ahead, take us on out to break. Everybody, Bar Talk with Jay. We are dynamically into forgiveness in a way that's going to help you get back joy in your life. Okay, he brought that as a header. The header of the show was joy. Forgiveness gets you back that joy because again, no one should take joy away from you. Bar Talk with Jay, we're gonna come back, we're gonna dissect some more because I want y'all to enjoy life in a way that you wasn't enjoying because of what you was holding on to. Let that go. And give them to him, Craft. What you got for us? Smooth sounds of Craft.
things?
Craftmatic, boy, smooth. All right. Well, welcome back to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome back.
And I will always tell you, this boy is off the chain. Craftmatic, I tell you. Woo! Man, he got so many hidden talents. Y'all just don't know. Let me do a shout out real quick. Edith is graduating.
Yes.
She's having a celebration. I can't give out the venue and the address because, again, this is her graduation. But I want to say a shout out. Graduating, went back, did her thing. I want to make sure she knows. Proud of her. Because, again, to go back to school to get your degree because you have a vision.
Yes.
Is fulfilling her with joy through all the pain she's been through. She deserves it.
She deserves it.
And I don't want to wait till the event to say it. These are the things that brings you joy. Is when you work through your plan. Because this was her plan.
Yes.
And you work through it and you accomplish it. It gives you that fulfillment.
Hey, listen, and that joy lasts for a lot of years.
What?
There's something. There's something in my spirit that just makes me so proud to say I have a college degree. And it don't mean a whole lot in the world nowadays because you just got to work hard no matter what it is and learn your craft and be on top of your game. But my college degrees kind of gave me a sense of fulfillment that I am moving in my own right direction. And it's something that I can look back on and say, hey, the world can't take that from me. I accomplished that. And so I'll never be deflated in that area because I worked through the stronghold and I made it. And we're so proud of Edith and looking forward to celebrating with her this weekend. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Can't tell y'all where though, but I can tell you this Saturday, she deserves it.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Now back to you hitting it over the head, man. This forgiveness, because again, what you're giving them is steps and processes of things that we really need to let go. Because carrying the baggage, even I heard you say yours. I have to say mine.
Okay.
I pointed the finger as well, and it's easy.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we do this is not to bring our own personal things into it, but that's how y'all can relate.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't got a reason to lie. I point it because it's easy. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I will always say she left, but I helped push her out. There was a lot of mistakes that was made.
Okay.
And it's easy to say because she the one that left the house. She left. Okay?
Have you forgiven her?
I had to. And the reason I had to is I had no problem blaming her. And I actually can tell you I hate it. Okay? And that's something you should never really do, but I did. I hated her because she was gone and the pain hurt it.
Yeah.
And it was easy to blame her than to face reality of the mistakes I made.
Right.
So I went around bitter and I did some things, man, got in relationships, and I carried the burden of what went on with other relationships without even confining that into them.
Right.
They just felt like, you know, you passed them and you divorcing, you doing your paperwork, you doing your due diligence. So you just a good dude and you just moving on. But I never relinquished my pain. Okay?
Right.
So I got in these relationships and they didn't last that long because I never relinquished the pain.
Right.
So later on, after that relationship dissolved and another one dissolved, you know, all these relationships took time, but they dissolved. I had to realize I have to make change.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
These changes come in time. With these changes, I had to start looking at things in a way that was going to benefit me. And how that was going to benefit me is I had to find ways to say, you know something, I've never looked at myself and held myself accountable. All I want to do is blame, blame, blame.
Right.
And guess what? She's living her life. I'm not living mine.
Right.
So, at this point, I have to make change. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say to myself, I was wrong for this. And I was wrong for that. You know, when I'm doing this is self. Right. I don't want nobody to think anything different. This is just me looking at a situation and I'm saying, I am wrong for this. I have to make change because I'm going to continue doing this until I realize I was just wrong for this because I thought I got away with it. I mean, she don't. So I am. without problem.
But you still got to face all those things.
And when you start facing them, you start realizing there's a whole lot of mistakes that I can now hate a person for foolish acts
Right.
that I never want to take responsibility for.
Right.
See, it's easy to push all that off, but when you realize all I can do is ask for forgiveness for myself first,
Right.
because half of this led to that.
Right.
You know,
Probably
you
more
look
than
at,
half.
yeah, you look at all this foolishness, you was the problem.
Mhm.
Okay? You might not be able to fix that now, but you can at least resolve it
Absolutely.
where it needs to be resolved at, and that's within you, because you're going to carry that to the next one. So
Right.
when I start resolving with me, before I even mentioned it to her, before I even went to her, I had to make sure I was, and I had to answer to myself a lot of foolish acts that I didn't want to take responsibility for. As far as I'm concerned, it was over with. I don't have to.
Yeah, CJ, I call this universal accountability. It's called karma. And I believe that karma stands in the way or is the liberator of our freedom. Right? If somebody did something wrong to you and you can't find forgiveness, that means you're always kind of beating them up. You're always kind of looking down on them. You're always thinking that they did something wrong and they hurt you and they wasted your time and all of that other stuff. And so, in essence, you have passed judgment on that person. If you have passed judgment on that person with no empathy and no forgiveness, then the world or other people are going to be passing judgments on you with no empathy and no forgiveness. And you know, the thing that you may need to forgive happens in your personal life, but because you don't exemplify forgiveness, then the mess that you made at work, now your boss is not going to forgive you for the thing that you did. You see what I mean? And it'll be a vicious cycle. And so we have again, I'm calling it universal accountability. It's simply karma. You can't judge people as wrong and bad on the left side and then expect the world not to judge you on the right side. Right? You have to open the doorway of freedom by forgiving other people. That way other people can forgive you. Listen, folks, this is not anything new. Right? And I'm calling it karma because that's a great fancy word that people kind of understand. But this is really a law of the universe. This is the way God made the world. And that's why he always was suggesting that we have to have a forgiving heart. Right? And if you can forgive someone, then someone who you have hurt can forgive you. But they can't forgive you until you forgive the person in front of you. It's just the way God has set up the world, and so, you know, I don't know, create freedom by forgiving people, and I promise you, the people who you have done wrong will forgive you. They'll find an open heart to forgive you. And I remember one time, this was many years ago, maybe 15 years ago, that a young lady asked me to borrow some money. Right? She was my frat brother's girl. Right? She knew I always had a job and always had a little cash flow, and so she knew I had money. She said, "Hey, I need to borrow $100." It was tension tight, but I knew, I could probably let the $100 go and still make ends meet. So I gave her the $100. She said, "I'll pay you back, in 2 weeks." And so in 2 weeks, I said, "Klein." And so in 2 weeks, I was looking for my money, and she disappeared. And so, 2-3 months later, I'm kind of 38 hot about my money. It ain't the cash, it's the whole principle of the matter. You know what I mean? I let you borrow something and you promised me you was going to pay me back. Now you running from me, right? And so I'm like, okay. And I was real malice about it, right? And it took me some time. However, I got to a point where I said, you know what? The reason she's not paying, going back to my fundamental principle that people really don't want to hurt others, right? My fundamental principle, people really don't want to hurt others. So I get to the idea somewhere in my mind, I say, you know what? If she had the money, she'd probably pay me back, right? She don't really want to hurt me. She don't really want to be, she don't want to be out there on the limb, not paying me my money. And so I had empathy for her. It allowed me to forgive her. I forgave her, and you know, a year down the road, I borrowed some money from somebody, my frat brother, in a time of need. He forgave me. But I'm struggling. I'm going to pay him back whether I can eat dinner or not that week, right? But he said, I said, man, I'm going to have your money on Friday. He said, man, don't even worry about that, man. I got you. It's all good. You don't owe me nothing. We straight. You know, come dog sit for me when I go on vacation or something for me, you know, in a few months. And so, man, when you open your heart to forgive someone, it opens other people's hearts to forgive you. It's a universal principle, man. So, and I can't say any more about that. We have to practice the idea. Folks, we live in a spiritual world. As much as we believe and as much as we can see, taste, and feel, the physical world, it's all about the spiritual world. And if your spirit is not right inside with something that happened or with someone who may have done you wrong, then it's ultimately taking you off of your pathway, of your designed pathway. And so you're hurting yourself by not forgiving, right? You're hurting yourself by not forgiving. Right? Because you're going to hold all that negative energy inside. And believe that negative energy in the physical world, it manifests into migraine headaches. It manifests into cancer. It manifests itself into sinus conditions and stress and worry and pain, weight gain. It's manifesting itself. It is when you hold on to baggage. That baggage has to manifest in the physical world, and those are the ways that it's doing it. So you just really got to understand this is a spiritual idea. You're opening doorways for yourself when you can find the heart to forgive someone for something that they've done to you. And I just gonna plant this seed. Just because you feel like somebody did you wrong doesn't necessarily mean they did you wrong. When your man leaves you cheating with another woman, he might have did you a favor. You see what I mean? So you got to have 40,000 foot perspective on things so you can see that he was tearing you down anyway, and what he did was for your good. Until you get right understanding about a situation, then you're probably going to be pointing the finger and blaming them. When ultimately, the Lord always says our thorns provide us our greatest blessings. Right? When that car breaks down on the side of the road, it's because it's meant for you not to be in that intersection down the road. Right? Don't look at it as your car broke down. Look at it as the Lord saved me from calamity down in the next block. And let me just take stride here and ask for help and get my tire fixed and go on about my business. Right? When we wallow in nonsense, we create challenge for the future.
Correct. I have one for you.
Okay.
I understand we're talking about relationships and the hardship of being able to forgive, the cheating, but what if it's physical? That is very hard to try to forgive when it's physical. Physical abuse.
Yeah, when it's physical, I would still say forgiveness is necessary, even though it's hard because of the fact of the physical act and that they put hands on you. And you will want to be away from those situations, but when you get away from those situations, you still have to give forgiveness because emotions run high in relationships.
Right.
And I'm not saying that is okay because I don't want to give the wrong words for somebody to ever feel it's okay to put hands on somebody. Right. But the forgiveness in that, after that happens, okay, after it happens, is to heal you from what you also went through. Because there's no reason for me to ever give you a sense that it's okay for that to happen. Because that's not what I'm aiming at. But I need you to heal from it, learn from it. And if you keep holding it, you're going to hold bad behavior that will repeat it.
Yeah.
I like to say I've been around a person that been in more than one abusive relationship. Okay? And all she kept saying is the guys. But the more I was around her, the more I heard her mouth. A lot of it, a great word, provoke. Because she used her aggressive words, very aggressive.
Yes.
And she was not a physical person, but she used words that was really hurtful.
Yeah.
And she talked about your personal stuff to others like you wasn't nothing, thinking that it wasn't going to be a response. Well, she never thought about her actions. So when she's being hit on, that ain't no real man. Okay? So of course, to everybody that heard about the situation, that wasn't no real man. No one would do you like this. So she's built herself back up to repeat the same action. And that's why I said, yes, we have to watch closely. But when she learned by, and I ain't gonna say me, but by others talking to her about her actions, she actually changed her life. Which that's what all this was for. It is to stop you from going down that path and to get you to really understand where you need to be. I'm not going to tell you she's a perfect person because, again, it takes time to
heal.
To get back right. But I like the change in the person because now she at least thinks about things that she says. And she just don't say them off the hip because she's so real. She really thinks before she speaks.
I've known many people to actually go through that metamorphosis from being a very aggressive and person with words to learning that their words were hurting people, and the words, they create nonsense and bad feelings when you talk about people, especially to their face, But if you've been in an abusive relationship, it's very difficult to forgive because number one, you got wounds. And probably bruises and etc. Secondly, is that you probably stayed in that relationship or are staying in that relationship way beyond what you should be. You probably should have been gone, and you're just staying there. So forgiveness is difficult, but if you can escape the madness, or when you escape the madness, it is very important to forgive the person who hit you. I'm of the notion.
Actually, you need to forgive yourself. Like you said, you can't forgive somebody else until you forgive yourself.
Absolutely.
You got to figure out what the problem was and be like, I got to be able to forgive me in order to forgive them.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, and just ask Rodney King who he forgave first. He had to forgive the officers first. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do nothing wrong, right?
He sure got beat.
Listen, and then later on, he probably had a lot of doubt in his mind that, hey, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, so to speak, and doubting himself and beating himself up and all that. I can just imagine all that happened in his mind over during that event. And I take the abuse of a spouse in the same way. That you're going to have to find some empathy, and that empathy from if you apply it to the world, then ultimately you'll be able to apply it back to yourself. But I mean, Barbara's hit the nail on the head. Yeah, you do have to find a way to forgive yourself, because ultimately you allowed yourself to be in that situation for as long as you did, and it's just challenging to think that you wasted years of your time with someone else, and that you wasted all of your energy on someone else.
Well, hold on. When I'm about to tell you, because when you really release, you really get healed, and it wasn't a waste of time. It was a lesson. Because remember, everything is a stepping stone.
Yeah, everything's a stepping stone.
So you stay at one point when you hold on to it. Yeah. I feel like you're wasting at that point.
Yeah.
But once you make that conscious decision to forgive, at that point it's a lesson.
Yeah.
And that's where your whole life changes. And that's where you release and joy comes back in. That joy is from the release of a pain that you held for no good reason.
Right.
And I promise you, I know, because I held it because I didn't want to relinquish my own shortcomings, my own bad decisions that I didn't want to. It's easy to blame.
But listen, you made those bad decisions for a long time.
And kept making them. You know why? Because I didn't see nothing wrong in this. Because she did that, and she did that. But when I did that, well, let me tell you something. It calmed me.
And what you experience, whether it be somebody espousing, verbally abusing you, or physically abusing you, or whatever they did to you, that you have to realize that they started beating you or down talking you or taking your self-respect 10 years ago.
Because you kept letting.
And so now you got to forgive yourself for 9.5 years of putting up with that stuff. And the forgiveness process is necessary, because you look back over your shoulder and you have nothing but pain to show for the decisions that you kept making over and over and over. That's why you're forgiving yourself. You know, I like to turn the corner on the discussion, not too much, but just a little bit.
We got a little break.
I'll make this comment quickly. The forgiveness that we are ultimately seeking is not about the other person, and the forgiveness is not necessarily about ourselves. We are asking the Lord to forgive us, because we diminished His purpose, we diminished His goodness, and we need Him to forgive us, because if He forgives us, He'll open the pathway for us to move forward. And that's what we have to always remember. The forgiveness has to come from the Lord, and the Lord will set you free.
Okay. Okay. Alright. I thought Jeffrey got the mic.
You dropped the mic.
Man.
I mean,
If no one caught that, please understand. Go to Him.
Yeah.
Go to the Lord.
Go to the Lord.
And again, pray and get this off of you.
Right.
Because a lot of times we're carrying unnecessary baggage for no good reason.
Right.
And it's only causing more people pain. And by the time you realize, like myself, you will feel like you carried something for no good reason. So all this time, I wasted other people's time in relationships that was not going to be fulfilling because I did not know.
Right.
So once I'm realizing and I'm healing now, I'm changing and I'm feeling better. And joy is around everybody I'm with now. Even though they don't totally understand me, it's just because they ain't took the time to realize I'm a changed person from a person that did not understand. But now that I'm starting to understand, they have to be patient with me, because I will open their eyes with some things that they might not be able to see too.
There you go.
So that is what I'm talking about. Grab Matter, what we got next, baby?
Man, we going to another break. One more track from Field to Real. I'm Good. Music Soul Child. This is Bar Talk with Jay. We'll be right back after this song.
And I forgive whoever kept calling me. Don't call me no more. I know this show from 79. Call me. What? Numbers?
From the moment that we met, I couldn't get you out my mind. It's when I knew it was over. Yeah. And then we started doing this, that. Now I want it all the time. Well, tell me now, can I come over? I was there. Wish I was with you now, right now, girl. Trying to party, go. I just need your body. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, baby. You're something that how hard you work. I'm good. 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 We can do this wherever you want it, girl. I'm good. I put my hands around your waist. Grab your hair and put it to the side while I try to get you on right. We lay down face to face. Yeah, we make now. I guarantee you're gonna know how I feel about you before the night is over. Wish I was with you now. Wish I was with you now. I just need your body, girl, and I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. However you want it, girl.
So my friend.
Oh, we back.
All right.
My bad. Hold on there, Jimmy.
Bar Talk with Jay.
Hold on.
Oh, get me started, boy.
Man, I have to apologize. I was over there to the side. I was jamming. I was talking to my son. I was like, hey. All right. So, now that we're back, only thing I can tell y'all off the top, when it comes to forgiveness, oh my goodness, Craftmatic has hit it over the head so many different times. And one of the things I got to say is also a release. Please understand, what we trying to bring you when it comes to our show is personal relationships that we had.
Right.
And that's just to make us all grow. It's not to put us in a position that put us out there. Because again, our significant others, there's no longer our significant others now, but was then. We're not trying to put them on blast at all. One good thing I can say is I had my ex-wife on my show. She understands my forgiveness and let alone my pain. But one of the things that she support me on is because of the fact that I don't care to lie. And she sees the change in me, and she supports me from afar. She's not like in my life, but she is a person that cares for me still and calls me. One of the reasons, because I'm a good guy that was just driven down a bad path, and I wasn't recognizing my mistakes, and I kept making them. It might not have been meant for us to be long term, but she was a person that helped me realize shortcomings. I had some bad shortcomings, and without her showing me some things, I probably would have kept on doing some things. So I had to release, I had to ask for forgiveness, and also had to look at myself and forgive myself first, and also make changes of behavior, because some of my behavior was just wrong. That am I perfect now?
We forgive you.
No. Well, am I perfect now? No. But guess what? It's a path.
It's a pathway, yeah.
What I love about my path is I start focusing on other things. That's why I picked my show. First, I picked my job. That was okay. We won't go there. But anyway, when I got away from the job, I started getting into myself. I started developing my dreams, and I started making my dreams more of my reality. But I wouldn't have did that without some of the pain I had to go through. It scopes you.
Absolutely.
And that's why I can make a beautiful picture now.
You had something for us tonight, Barbara?
I should have said I would say no.
I know. Really? You go to the table. Like, come on.
Well, turn up. You can talk. I mean, but you ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, we need a woman's perspective on the subject.
She ain't saying nothing.
Let me just throw something in here. Okay, go ahead then. Let's
What's
go.
it over there then?
Well, I was just like,
You better knock everything over.
Into the mic, go ahead.
I've never been married. I
Okay.
guess I've never been in a relationship. But you have to put God in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let anybody take your glory.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to learn to forgive.
Yes. Yes.
Hold on. She
I
said
mean,
she ain't never been in a relationship.
According to you and Craft, you and that person had to say, I'm with you and you with me. Those words were never said. So no, I have
Okay,
not.
well,
Okay.
I mean, alright.
We don't want him to go down that pathway. That ain't even for us
All right,
to talk
Jeff.
about tonight. Hey,
Jay Craft has
listen,
definitions.
she had a mouthful.
Yes,
She says something that was meaningful. I mean, I'm just. I know we're down to the last 5 minutes or so, and I want to give you something that you can preserve this discussion of forgiveness. And a good friend of mine has been sharing with me that she really likes my idea of clean sheet of paper. I've been talking about clean sheet of paper for 20 years, just through my training and development efforts. And I think clean sheet of paper is a therapeutic way to forgive. And here's what you do. You take out a clean sheet of paper and a pen. You go sit down at the dining room table somewhere comfortable. You need to sit up straight. You don't really want to be laying down for this exercise. And I want you to just write all the things that you forgive other people for, and write down the things that you forgive yourself for. There's something magical that will take place when you write it down. Because you're writing it down, it's almost like you're telling somebody. You know how sometimes you don't start crying until somebody asks you what's wrong? Right? Somebody say, what's wrong? And you be like, well, they started messing with me. And they start crying. That clean sheet of paper can give you the same kind of experience. And so fill up the page with things that, forgiveness thoughts. Right? I forgive myself for being single. Because, yeah, I see you perked up with that one, Jay. I forgive myself for being single.
Why I gotta forgive? I kinda like it.
I know, but listen, Jay, the reality is,
I like it.
The reality is that you ain't supposed to be single.
I am supposed to, but I kinda like it.
And you blew the marriage.
Oh, I tore that up.
Right.
Oh,
so
yeah.
now you need to ask for some forgiveness for being single, because you ain't supposed to be single. You're supposed to be with spouse. Right?
But I messed that up.
Right. You messed that up and need to ask for some forgiveness.
I did.
Did you forgive?
I forgave.
You sure?
She moved on.
But did you move on? Right?
If I did, all I can say is we shared a whole lot of stuff.
Sometimes you might need to forgive yourself for being broke, because you know you could have did better. You know you could have started that business. You know you should have been laser focused on your career and your business, but you got sideswiped by a relationship or some nonsense. And so when you look back over the last 20 years of your life and you say, hey, I'm broke now. Why am I broke? There's some forgiveness that need to take place in your spirit. Right? If you're unhappy, you need to kind of forgive yourself for being unhappy. Because maybe 10 years ago when you knew you were at a crossroad, you didn't take the right steps. Right? So what I'm attempting to do is to take the burden off of your past, and ultimately it'll take the burden off of your heart today. So we're walking around with these heavy weights that are no longer ours to carry. Forgiveness is one of those ways to relieve the burden. Remember I talked about it was a pressure release valve for your life. And it's so important to the spirit of humanity. Humanity could not move forward without the spirit of forgiveness. And we don't all the time get to see those kind words and those soft intentions, but it's happening throughout the world. Some people just kind of forget and they don't forgive. And then they got to walk around with those issues in their heart. I meet a lot of people in my line of business. I know it's time to close here. I meet a lot of people who met a bad salesperson. And they started treating me bad because they met a bad salesperson. And so I have to forgive them, and I got to forgive the bad salesperson that they met for putting me all through the trouble that I'm going through right now. And it's going to happen that way forevermore. Forgiveness has to be a lifelong process. It has to be a way of life, because people are always going to do you wrong whether they want to or not. You're always going